So when it comes to converting your clients into your programs, you may have or may not, like I didn't know about this in the beginning, have heard the term of what does it cost your client to not invest with you? So it's really confusing on how to figure that out. And that's why I'm doing this video, is to go through it with you so that you have a clear understanding of it, so that you can figure that out for your program. Usually before you even build the program, you understand the value so that you build the program to match the value. So welcome back. And for those of you that are new here, I'm Tracy Blehm. I'm the founder and creator of Signature Program Mastery Training and Tracy Blehm Coaching. And I have been doing this for over 2 decades. And I have done and taught and trained people in workshops, retreats, programs, all that kind of good stuff for multiple years to add 6 figures, high 6 figures to your income without really changing your entire business model. We're kind of adding that in there as a bonus, or some people switch completely over to programs and get rid of their current business model, whatever works for you. So let's go through this so that I can explain to you how to figure this out for yourself, for your clients. So knowing the cost of not investing does 2 things for you. One, it really lets the client know exactly what it's costing them, because a lot of times when you sit down with them and go through it with them in your initial call, like if you have a big ticket premium price program, we usually do this in what we call a discovery call and go through it. They are sometimes shocked because they aren't aware of what all it's costing them throughout their entire life. So it is a beautiful way to shed light on it, whether they buy from you or not. It's really kind of a gift to help people with this awareness. 2, what it does is it does stuff for you, and that you really understand the value that you're bringing, and that your premium ticket probably isn't that premium once you see how much it's cost them over the years that they've struggled with this issue. Unfortunately, people don't typically show up upon first diagnosis or upon the first appearance of their issue. It drags out for a bit. So that's why in other videos I talk about you need to find them at their rock bottom, because then they're motivated to move and buy. So let's go through those, and I'm going to show you exactly how to figure that out. So let's talk a little bit more about what does the cost of not investing mean. So this is what it costs them on physical, mental, emotional, financial, relationship levels, and how it stacks up over the years. People are really not aware. And in fact, as you're doing this, you might get highlighted in some area of your life or business where it's costing you and you haven't chosen to look at it either. And that's wonderful, because once we're aware, then we can make a different conscious choice. So I have an exercise for you on how to do this. So you want to grab a paper and pen so you can take a bit of notes so that you have it afterwards, or watch the entire video through and then go back and take notes for sure, because I want it to be clear for you. And there are a few steps, and there are some things where it's going to be really difficult to put a price to, but with those kind of soft goods, as I like to call them, you'll at least be able to bring it to light with people, because they will understand the emotional cost to them, or the spiritual cost to them, by not investing and continuing down the path that they're currently on. Okay, so for this exercise, we're going to use the example of a weight loss program for a mom with 2 kids under 10 that are in elementary school. She works out of the home, and she's got about 40 plus pounds to lose. So I want you to see how specific I am with my example. You want to be just as specific with your programs so that you can really speak to them. So for example, a mom who's 30 to 35 with 2 little kids is very different than a woman 30 to 35 with no kids, or a single mom 30 to 35 with 2 kids. Someone who doesn't work outside the home is different than someone who works outside the home. So all these factors actually change your lingo in how you present to them, how you market, but it also changes how you build your program, because it has to do with time. Our program should always save people time. So if I got 2 kids, you better be very strategic with your time, especially when they're little and they're in soccer and they're in dance and they're in this and they're in this, right? That changes how much available time I have for myself, right? So you need to factor in all those things. And if you're not sure how to do that, or you think your niche is still a bit fuzzy, go below this video in the description. You will see I have a free micro niching guide for you that you can get, and it walks you through step by step. It's like me holding your hand to get you through it, so that at the end, you know exactly who you help with what, and you already have some program ideas bubbling of what you could do to add that to your business. All right, so let's take a look at the physical cost to this client with this issue. So extra weight typically creates high blood pressure pills. So for this example, this person has high blood pressure. So the pills are $40 a month, which works out to $480 a year. Don't get into, well, they have drug coverage, not a big deal. It is a big deal because not everyone has drug coverage. So we're going to put it down, still counts. They will have back, knee, hip issues from carrying around extra weight. So let's say they go to the chiropractor, $65 session per month, $780 a year, so that they can sit at their desk and do their work or get up and down the stairs. Massage, they will treat themselves to a massage every 2 months, $90 a session. That's $540 a year. They're struggling to get sleep because they're exhausted, their body is too tired to sleep, or the kids are waking them up, or what have you, and it's just too much stress. So they buy a bottle of melatonin gummies at $10 a month. That's $120 a year. Now they're constantly getting sick or burning out from not sleeping, so they end up calling in for sick days, costing the company, say they make $25 an hour times 8 hours, that's a $200 sick day. They use 6 a year, that's $1,200. Now, don't be saying, who cares if it costs the company? Well, it's going to cost your client later in this example, and your mom could be running their own business or could be being paid per hour or not have sick days, right? So you want to still lump it in together, because if you have someone at a company who's constantly sick and a promotion comes up, are you going to give it to the sickie or are you going to give it to the healthy? So it does cost you down the road. Trust me, if you're costing a company money nonstop, it's going to cost you. Okay. Let's go through the next piece. So the emotional and mental costs. Now, these can be difficult to put prices to, but we still want to go through them. So if a woman is overweight, it could create a lack of confidence, which costs them some relationships, opportunities, promotions, and sales, because typically people who are unhappy with their physical appearance will not chase after opportunities because they don't feel confident, they feel judged, they feel they won't get them if a prettier person is going up against them. It could be costing them a lack of intimacy, right? Because they don't want to have, sexy time. They don't want someone to snuggle them in case they touch their fat roll or whatever. So it's costing them feeling loved, and it's costing their partner feeling loved or their partner being able to be intimate, which means if you don't want to fool around or snuggle and they're not getting that and they want it, you're taking from them as well. It could also cost them feeling left out or embarrassed, right? If they are, a small frame, and all of a sudden they're carrying around an extra 40 plus pounds on their frame, they might not like how they look in dresses, in clothes, in whatever, right? So then they won't go do stuff, or they won't get invited to go do stuff because they physically can't keep up. So then it's embarrassing. They'll feel judged. So that's, again, skipping out on the events or pictures. I know a lot of women who have extra weight that refuse to be in family photos because they hate how they look, but they're not choosing anything different yet. So then they're missing out being as part of their kids' memories when they have those pictures later, when you're gone, right? Or just enjoying yourself. Maybe they feel depressed and the doctor puts them on antidepressants at $50 a month, which is $600 a year. Or what happens if they're feeling anxious about what will happen or what will be said and whether or not they're going to be able to handle it, and you get on anxiety meds? Well, that's $50 a month and $600 a year. And these days, doctors put you on both. Now, let's talk about relationship costs. So you may not have the energy or the stamina to play with your kids or keep up. So your kids miss out on doing things with you. They always say kids don't want stuff. They want time with you. And you will think as a parent, no, they're always asking for stuff. But they want to go do stuff with you, always. And if you don't have the energy, or you're too tired, or you'd rather sit on your phone because you've had a bad day and you have no zip, that builds up, right? Or you only watch them play because you don't want people to judge you on your weight or how you look, or you're uncomfortable about getting in the pool and splashing with them because you don't like how you look in a bathing suit. Again, another relationship cost is no playtime with the spouse, right? A lot of times with the people that would come into the clinic for therapy and that around their marriage, it's because their partner is refusing to fool around with them, snuggle them, hold their hand, go do stuff with them. And when you talk to the partner, it's like, well, I'm too fat when I lose the weight, but they're not doing anything to lose the weight, right? So this costs you deeper than you realize. You may avoid your skinny friends or are unable to enjoy participating in the more physically demanding experiences with them, or you indulge in self-hate by comparing your body to others, which means you don't have deep relationships, or you don't make friends easily because you're not sure what people think when they look at you. Or your family may poke fun at you at family events, which destroys your self-esteem, or you hate them, or you don't have healthy family relationships, you have toxic family relationships. You're tired from your daily life due to this excess weight, so you go out less and you experience less connection and experiences that add that quality to your life. You may feel lethargic due to health, you're less productive at work, and you're cranky, so no one wants to help you or work with you. And then you throw in those earlier sick days we mentioned, and it's costing you promotions, bonuses, and opportunities that further your career and your income. Let's add a number here. So let's say you take home $6,450 a month. The opportunity for a pay increase of 10% is lost because you're barely doing your current job, let alone bringing in value. So that ROI, return on investment, for your employer is less. So you lose that 10%. So that means that you lose $216 a week, $864 a month, or $10,368 a year, which, guys, that's a nice family vacation right there. And you don't get that because you just can't keep up. People don't pay attention to that. You can have additional financial costs. So eating out more because you're tired and you don't want to cook. So say you eat out one meal just for you a week at $18 a meal. That's a basic freshie meal for my 15-year-old. Okay, that's $936 a year. Now, let's say it's a Friday night and you don't want to cook for your family of 4. Well, that is $3,744 a year, right? And if you eat out more than one meal, which these days a lot of people do, especially with Skip the Dishes and DoorDash, it's so easy. Well, say it's 2 meals a week. That's $7,488 a year. Or maybe it's 3 times a week. That's $11,232 a year. It adds up very quickly. What would you do with that money? And what happens if that nonstop lack of intimacy ends up in divorce because your partner is so craving companionship? And what happens if your health gets so bad you have a major illness and have to pay out of pocket, or lose your job because you're unable to work? And you might be thinking again, oh, it's only 40 pounds, but on a small frame, that's huge. On a person whose ideal weight is 120 pounds, that's a third of their overall weight added. You're going to have issues. So let's do the math and see what that's costing them overall. So we have 480 plus 780 plus the 540 plus 120, 600 for depression meds, 600 for anxiety meds, 10,368 for the loss of that promotion, 3,744 for that food. And just with that, it's costing them $17,232 a year, not including all the other emotional and connection things that it's costing them. And let's say they've been struggling with their weight issue for 6 years. That's $103,392. And that, again, that's 6 years of relationships and experiences lost as well that you won't get back. So now you're getting the picture of the true cost of not investing, but how does that play out for your program price? So we're going to take that amount and multiply it by 0.5 at the very, 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 very low end to 5%. So 103,392 times 0.5% is $516.96. So let's say 517. That I would create a digital program, just a digital download, one small aspect to help them. If we do 103,392 times 5%, that's $5,169.60. There's your program pricing. That's your program price range. And that's how you share it with your client. Again, that lower end would be fully downloadable digital product, pay, download, no access to you. The higher end might include some sort of session or group piece, depending on how you want to assist them with their transformation. And you can go higher. Absolutely, you can go higher. But this is typically an easy way to convert your clients when you do the math with them, right? And that 5,000 plus could be a 3, 6, or 9 month program. It does not have to be a year. And it's really a small price to pay when you're clear on what it's costing them to not invest with you. So you can see there is formulations to make that happen. And you can see that person would be kind of shocked when all of a sudden they sit down and go, wow, I had no idea. I hear that all the time. Wow, I had no idea what all it was costing me. It was just easier to kind of stick my head in the sand and ignore it, which is what we do until we're ready. So that's fine. So for those of you who are really looking for assistance and you're like, yep, I want to do this. I want to make this impact. I want to be able to create this for a client. I invite you to book a breakthrough business call with me where we can sit down, take a look at what your vision is, where you think your challenges are, and to see if working together is a fit. And if it's not, that's okay. We can still be friends, but let's chat and see where you're at, because who doesn't want to add 6 figures to your bottom line? You know what that would create for you and your business and the people that work with you and the people that would work for you? A lot. So happy to have shared this with you. I hope it makes sense. If not, comment below if you have some questions or if it's unclear. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video next week, and I'll chat with you soon. Cheers.